Good afternoon or good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, I can hear you. When it's 7 o'clock on the dot, we can make a start. How are you?
I'm good. You?
I can't complain. God is good.
Well,
You look very young, though.
I don't just take my hat off.
You look very young. No wonder you're talking so much about exercise. It's very good. Keep it up.
I'm 53.
You're 53.
Yep.
You don't look 53. Not at all. And I'm
So
sure
should I take my hat off? Do I look
even if you
older?
take your hat off, you don't look 53.
You said?
Even when you take your hat off, you don't look 53.
Yeah, I try to stay fit and stay young,
That's the best way. That's the best way. So you
Life
ready
is-
for us?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Always ready.
That's very good. So we are going to start now. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. It was the great Chinua Achebe that said, and I quote, "When the lion failed to celebrate his place in the jungle, the hunter takes the glory for killing the lion." Today, all the way from Toronto in Canada, we have a distinguished African, someone whose record of achievement is an inspiration to all of us. This distinguished individual started from a humble beginning and rose to one of the most strategic positions in one of the largest police force in North America. If you stick around to the end, you will learn the things that got him to where he is today. Without wasting your time, can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
My name is Basi Osaigi. I'm a sergeant detective with Toronto Police Service, Canada, Ontario. I'm also the CEO of Uhi Security Service in Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Basi. At the Launch Club, we are committed to celebrate the very best amongst us. It's absolute pleasure to have the privilege to sit down and have this conversation with you. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. I'm grateful.
Thank you. So with straight to the point, one of the things that a lot of our audience has been wanting to know is, how did you start? Where were you born? And at what point did you migrate to Canada?
Well, I was born in Uhi village, emphasis village, in Uhonde local government area of Edo State, to Mr. Akurgi Osaigi and Imasina Osaigi, both farmers. My dad was originally from Uhi in Uhonde local government, while my mom was from Obagi, same Uhonde local government. I attended Akugbe Primary School in Uhi. Following that, I also attended Uhi Grammar School. When I graduated from secondary school, that was when I planned and I left Nigeria shortly after my high school, or call secondary school. I came to Canada, where I attended York University. When I finished York University, I got degree, business administration degree from York University. Following my graduation, in my fourth year of education of university, I got a job as a part-time court officer with the Toronto Police Service. From that point, what we do as a court officer, we security for judges and have VIPs for courthouse. Following that, I became a police officer in the year 2000. You want me to continue or stop there?
No. So you joined the Canadian Police Force in 2000.
I actually joined the court officer. I joined the Toronto Police in 1998. As a court officer, I became a police officer in 2000.
Okay. So what would you say is the strategy that got you to where you are today?
The strategy that got me to where I am today, first of all, I didn't set out to be a police officer. I went to school to study business. Me becoming a police officer was coincident, and I believe was just the Lord, what God wanted to do for me. I actually went to police headquarters with a friend of mine who was looking for a job at the time. And when I was there waiting in the lobby, in the hallway, the lady who was hiring looked up to me and said, are you also looking for a job? And I said, no, I'm not looking for a job. Say, oh, you look good, you'll be good policeman and be court officer. So that's how I got the application and I applied and became a court officer. What I would say that government is, you have to believe in yourself. You have to work hard, extra hard. When I applied to become a police officer, people said, you have an accent. You were not born here. How are you going to survive? Yes, it was difficult. I became a police officer through hard work, dedication, being able to know who I am, knowing my weaknesses and my strength. I knew my strength was hard work. I knew my strength was to study. I knew my strength was to be better than everybody else. So I focus on that. And at the same time, you have to overcome the obstacle that you are not born here and network. Everybody don't have to like you, but when you see a leader or somebody in the organization that like you, grab to that person because they are very rare to find in this part of the world because we are not from here. Unless you have an individual that can mentor you, and if that trusts you, believe in you, it's going to be very difficult to make it to where I am today.
So how many people are you commanding?
Right now,
you have, yeah.
Right now, our station's about 200 and just over 200. In the station here, I'm in charge of community response unit with neighborhood officers. Our job is to liaise with the neighbors, with the neighborhood, and then get a sense of what's going on in the community. We have a meeting with them because we believe police cannot solve every problem. Police have to work hand in hand with the members of the community.
Yeah.
Police, you have to take advice from them, put everybody on the same table, and they come up with a plan.
Yeah.
That's my job. My job is to, once the community identify a problem, I am contacted, we go to a meeting, and then we talk about the implementation. So everyone then I assign, whoever is in that area will be assigned to take care of it, while I take track and about what's going on. So station is about 200 and something, and just over 200.
What's your view, if any, immigrant who is watching us now, who is considering joining the police force, either in Europe or North America, what would be your advice for them?
My advice for them would be, my advice for them would be, drop everything you believe in Nigeria. Get to know your host country. If you're in Europe, you're in Canada, drop everything you believe. It's a completely different environment, completely different thinking, completely different ethical value, and even education. I often mentor Nigerians becoming police officer here, and I tell them, you may have a master's degree. That's not what we need. Focus on the test you are given. All we need is a high school. I've seen people come, they fail. I said, because they don't focus. So my advice to them is, get to know the requirement. Do not think what you're not supposed to think. Focus on the requirement and get the job done. Study, stay fit, because if you don't have physical ability, you're not going to make it. Study, stay fit, listen to people, practice your interviews. Before you go for interview, practice, look in the mirror, talk to the mirror, talk to a video. Do what you have to do to make you acceptable to the people. For example, in Nigeria, when we talk to people, we say, oh, you can't look at your dad in the eye. No. If you go for an interview, you can't look at the interview in your eye, you're not going to make that interview. I remember one of my senior officer when I was, the job said, Basi, I can never trust a man who cannot look at me in my eye. But that's contrary to what we believe back home. So that's what I say, drop everything, focus on the values of your host country and work harder, because you are not from here. They are not going to hire an individual, their citizen, who have the same qualification and the same everything as you. For you to get that job over their citizen, you got to take it up the notch and be a lot better, more stronger, and more demonstrate potential that you're going to be good at the job. So that is my other countries where they don't speak English, be proficient in their language. Get to know the culture. You cannot police people, you don't understand the culture. That's part of the problem in Nigeria. You bring people from the south, from the north, you send them to a region where they don't understand the language, they don't know the culture, they don't understand the people, and they fail. But here, failure is not acceptable. So you got to be good at what you do, and you got to work hard for it.
Thank you very much for explaining that. So I wanted to ask you something, because my producer, my team told me that there has been a clamor that your people have been calling on you to come and use the expertise that you've acquired in Canada Police to serve the people of Edo State. Is that true? And if it's true, how do you intend to serve the people of Edo State?
Well, it is true. The first call I had a couple of years ago was, Basi, you're so experienced. You have been doing this job for so long. Why don't you come and establish a security company in Nigeria? About 5 years ago, I listened to that call. I had established a security company in Nigeria. I'm the CEO of that company. We have a branch in Lagos, Abuja, and Benin. Today, we have over 300 staff across the country that are working for me there. So I listened to that. Now, the major problem that bedeviling Edo State is security. So my people have been calling me, why don't you bring your expertise? You have been a police officer for about 24 years. Bring your expertise home, and so you can protect us and bring investment, bring investors to Edo State. So I have listened to that call. I have contemplated on it in the past. Now I have listened to that call. I'm now running to be the governor of Edo State. And I'm going to bring everything I have, my public service, my ethical behavior, my transparency, my belief in accountability. I'm going to bring everything back to bear, and I'm going to run a very transparent system once I get to be the governor. Yes, I'm running for the governor of Edo State in 2024.
You heard it right. Mr. Osagie has made it very clear that he intends to throw himself in the ring, and he wants to serve the people of Edo State. So we are therefore going to use this opportunity to scrutinize him, because at Lunch Club, we do not give public servants free ride. So Mr. Basi, I hope you don't mind. The good people of Edo State will want to know why they should give their vote and entrust their destiny into your hand. So the question I want to ask you, because you've just made it clear that you intend to run for the next governorship election in Edo State, poverty is something that everyone in Nigeria, most people can relate with poverty. As we stand today, Edo State currently has less than 12%, according to the World Bank and the Bureau for National Statistics. How do you intend to reduce that number down? What is your plan, and how would it be funded?
Thank you so much, sir. Poverty is very big, and I'm going to give a priority to it when I become the governor, because majority of our people live in the rural area, and that is where the poverty is more prevalent. It's also in the city. So to cut it short, when I become the governor, in order to reduce the poverty rate, we have to diversify our economy.
Can I just ask you, in addition to poverty, we have 49% of the people of Edo State are unemployed. So the poverty rate is less than 12%. The level of unemployment is 49%. So what is your plan to bring that numbers down? That is what the people watching us from in Benin now, in Esan land and in Esako, they want to know how are you going to do it?
Okay, this is what I'm saying. Let me get to it. First thing I'm going to do is to diversify the economy. Right now, there's over-reliance on oil and gas money from Abuja. We have a great farmland in Edo State that is not being utilized, partly because a lot of our people are afraid to go to the farm because of kidnapping, or somebody are going to destroy their crops. me, Basio Sagas, the governor, I'm going to make sure I protect our farmland. I'm going to form a security dragnet around our rural area and our farm area so that we can grow our agriculture. Not only to grow agriculture, so that we can feed ourselves. Because not being able to eat is part of poverty. It's mostly poverty. I'm going to ensure we have food security in Edo State by putting money in, buying farmers fertilizers, encouraging and promoting mechanized farming, not only to feed ourselves, but to serve as exports so that we can make money and then develop our state. Secondly, I'm going to encourage tourism to our state. Although we have a historical site that nobody comes to visit, but you can't call people to visit without the proper infrastructure in place, without good road, without bridges. So that we are going to make sure we have those. I'll come to where we're going, how we're going to get the money. I'll come to that. We are going to invest in technology, and we're going to encourage manufacturing company. And then we're going to have, for us to have jobs, for us to move away from poverty, you must have good education. Not just good education, well, I'm going to make sure that when our people are being educated, we are going to make sure whatever they study, the skill is relevant for the global market. It's relevant so that they can get a job. Because once you can get a job, your poverty level drop down. So I'm going to ensure that whatever we do to create a diverse source of income and job opportunity for everybody. Talk about skills development. We are going to improve access to quality education and skill development program so that our young people can be employed. I already talked about infrastructure. We're going to invest in roads. I will invest in roads, electricity, water supply, and healthcare facility to improve the overall quality of life. Because when you are healthy and strong, that's when you are going to be able to do a job. A lot of our people have mental issues, are sick, and they are not able to work. But we're not taking those things into consideration. Plus, also, I'm going to have what we have in Canada, social welfare program, where we can target those people that are vulnerable among us and be able to support them. And also, what I would do is to support the SME enterprise, the small, medium businesses, like the market women. Market women, they contribute a lot to our economy, but we do not support them. I will support them with small loan, non-interest loan, build infrastructure in the marketplaces, and train them on how to use the little money they have. Because without training, they can abuse the money. Then I'm going to collaborate with private sectors. I'm going to collaborate with so they can help us solve this problem, especially that of unemployment. Then you ask me how am I going to fund it? I'm going to fund it through public-private partnership, one of them, because we need to collaborate with private investors to fund projects and initiatives. And also, because I have lived abroad for so long, I know there are a lot of foreign companies that want to invest in Edo State, but they cannot invest in Edo State where there's no security. They cannot invest in Edo State where they don't trust the government. Based on my credibility and my competence, I'm going to attract foreign investors to support our economic growth and development. I've been in Canada for so long. In United Nations, Canada, they do give grant and aid to third world countries. We are going to take advantage of that and get the grant. But it's not the kind of grant we are getting now from our government, where they get the grant, they put it in their pocket. We are going to get the grant and use it for our people. And also, I'm going to make sure I know we don't have much time. I'm going to make sure efficient resource allocation. I will prioritize poverty reduction in the state budget so that they will budget for that. So I believe by implementing these policies and securing funding through various channels, that we can work toward reducing poverty and improving the lives of the people of Edo State.
Thank you so much. We will come back to some of the questions because what you have said is what I will consider an aspirational statement. I will introduce poverty, I would use education, but what I want to know is the substance of the plan. You say you're going to fund it by through private and public partnership. That's a good, but we will still need to hear more on the details. And I am sure that as the campaign progresses, you will honor our call to come and give us a breakdown because our people are fed up with politicians saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. They need to know that your experience in Canada, that you are going to make a difference.
Yes, I'll be brief on this. I won't take, because I'm trying not to take too much time, so I kind of just highlight the plans. But I'll give one detail of that plan before we move on. I was born in Uhi. My mom, my dad was a farmer. The money that I used to come abroad was my parents got from selling farm product and crops. But we have lost that in Edo State. Most farmers now cannot just go to under their pillow and give their child money to travel abroad. Why? Because we stopped farming. That's one way I'm talking about. If you go into mechanized farming, even if it wasn't mechanized, we're going to the way we used to farm, there'll be less people that's in poverty. There'll be less unemployment. I remember my brother's cousin coming back from the Benin, coming back to the village to farm because there was no job and their life was better. So I will bring that back, but would improve the way we do in Canada. That's an example of one person, like, we can feed ourselves. So that's a practical way of doing it. But if I have to stress each practical way, it might take too long. But that is one of the most practical way we can reduce poverty and we can stop unemployment. Not stop, reduce unemployment.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So as at June last year, Edo State debt stood at 110 billion, 110.5 billion, just short of 111 billion. Now, a lot of the things that you're going to do from day one, you are going to rely, either you raise taxes, you borrow money, or you use federation allocation from the federal government. Those are the three avenues to fund your programs. What I'm want to know is that, mindful of that, you are going to service the debt that the current governor, the current debt. By the time you get into office, the debt might be more than what we're seeing today. So how do you intend to navigate the constraint that the debt may put on your plan?
Okay, yes, I understand that every country where you borrow money, but what happened to us is that we borrow money so that we can, the politician can put in their pocket. Well, that will stop with day one. And I won't even rely on those three things you just mentioned. The first thing I'm going to do on day one, not even day one, once I win the election, is to set up a diaspora desk with a diaspora person to connect with all the Edos in the diaspora. I've traveled to the US, I've traveled all over the world, talking consultation before this. And there's no profession, there's no business, there's no investors that will not have an Edo person. I am going to ensure that they come back home to invest. Even if you mean giving them tax-free for a few years, I'm going to make sure they come. But before they come, we have to secure the states. Once we get our people to invest in Edo State, that will be our number one revenue, because we'll be able to create industries. Let me just get you want me to put a meat in it. I spoke to an Edo person in Washington, D.C. He's in charge of the environmental section of Washington, D.C. And I asked him, what are you going to do for me when I become governor? He said, Basi, I will do it for free. I will come survey Edo State and help you prevent flooding, erosion, so that our people, we won't losing farmland, we won't losing erosion. And once we can do that, and then set up industries, we will not only make money from the taxes, we're going to tax the people that work there, we will have unemployment will be reduced. That is just one industry. Then I have people, other Nigerian from Toronto here, who's a pharmacist, and he told me, he said, look, Basi, if you can secure the place, if there are good roads, if there are things that you can do to help me, I will bring my pharmaceutical company to Edo State. He's from Aunchi, and I'll be able to employ not less than 500 people to manufacture drug right now is manufacturing drug in China. I will bring it home if you can assure me of power supply, good road, and security. So that's where we'll get our money from, through people investing in that. But it doesn't mean we should stop borrowing. But we have to be responsible. I will adopt a cautious approach to borrowing because I'll prioritize the project that have a clear return on investment with significant socio-economic impact. If it's not going to impact our people, there'll be no borrowing. But before you borrow, you also have to do a feasibility study. Before considering any borrowing, we will conduct thorough feasibility study and cost-benefit analysis for proposed project. Just this we will do in the same way we do in Canada. And our budget will be transparent. We will disclose it before we go into it. But we can't, like we said, can't do it alone. We would encourage public-private partnership. That's where the diaspora and people in Nigeria will come from. But even if you mean we have to, you talk about servicing the debt, it's going to be very difficult. But we can do what you call debt restructuring, where you consider debt restructuring option to negotiate more favorable terms and lower interest rate, if possible. But you have to pay your debt on time so you can get the credibility for them to do that for you. So that's what we're going to do. But I have mentioned it before. You got to diversify your economy so they can make more money. Edo State is blessed with a lot of minerals, but we are not tapping it. We have lumber, we have truststone, we have so many things we can make money from the natural resources, but we are not doing it. That's where you make money. Canada, what do we make money from here in Canada? Through customer service like tourism. The Canada government, they encourage movie from the United States to do movies in Canada. They make billions of dollars doing that. We have a very rich culture. We can encourage people to come shoot movies, visit, and we can make money from that. Another way you make your money is where we can have money is through revenue collection. How are we collecting our revenues?
Basi, thank you so much. I'm just mindful that you see, time they say flies when you're having fun. So
Yes.
I'm mindful. I don't want this video to be too long. We will invite you again. I want to ask you. We've got 5 more minutes or 4 more minutes. If you win which party you running under?
Running under Labour Party.
Okay. So if you become the Labour Party's governorship candidate, the rumor that we are hearing from very reliable source is that Comrade Adam Aliu Oshomole is being considered as the next Minister of Works and Housing. Therefore, Oshomole is going to be classed as what we call super minister. He would want to do everything to make sure Edo returns to APC. Do you have the foot soldiers to make sure that the likes of Tony Kabaka and others who will want to do everything to make sure that their interest is protected, do you have the foot soldiers to match them in the ballot box? Because we know in Nigeria, election is not a reflection of the will of the people.
Well, once I claimed the Labour Party primary, the people, based on my consultation, my feasibility study, most people in Edo State, it's not about parties, it's about individual. My people, based on what I heard, are supporting me. And once I get that, the people like Tony Kabaka, we have about 100 Tony Kabaka in Edo State. So it won't be exclusive to Oshomole. I will also have access to those people. And they're ready to work for me. We will match him man on man, dollar on dollar. And right now, even I haven't won primary, we already have people in all the 18 local government. We're having people the 193 wards. We will have at least 5 people in each polling unit that will be protecting the ballot boxes for us. We will match whatever Oshomole brings, because you know why? Edo people are stronger than that, and we have the resources. I have the resources available to me to also do whatever Oshomole is about to do. So Oshomole, we also got to look at it. We have the sitting governor who's going to also be willing to do whatever he wants to do. But we have all the resources in our disposal, and we have the support of the people, and we'll be able to fight them man on man.
Oh my God. Sorry, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Good. So I want to ask you to score the current governor, where if anything below 3 is fail, 5 is fair, below 7 is pass. How would you score the current governor?
I would say fail. I would say he failed. But the problem with Obaseki is that Obaseki probably got a good intention, but his interactive skills, his ability to work with other people is very low. So he was not able to put Edo people to collaborate and use the resources, the human resources, natural resources, not able to use it to benefit the Edo people. That is his major problem. I know he appeared like a smart guy and all that, but he has not been able to pull us together to work together. That is his downfall. And because of that, I score him very low. That's why there's no achievement. I read all his debt profile, the money he borrowed on different projects. Those projects are not on ground. But I'm going to do more study about that. I'm going to go visit those projects and see if he actually done it. Because I haven't seen it. It doesn't match. The money he borrowed doesn't match what we have on ground.
And I just say something. We try with the launch at the launch club, we try to be fair. If someone is not here to defend themselves, we try to be fair, just like we would do the same thing to you. But
Okay.
what I would say to you, why I was doing research for this program, Edo State has one of the lowest poverty rates in Nigeria. Edo State is not among the highest indebted states. When it comes to education, Edo State's record is second to none. So when you are saying the governor failed because he lacks interpersonal skill, that's not based on the output. The output, the educational record, the Edo State investment, it shows that the governor has done well.
I don't even believe a lot of those records. When you talk about poverty, that because Nigeria is very poor. So you look, the only reason why people in Edo State are not as poor is because of us in diaspora. That have nothing to do with the governor. It's because we are pumping money there to help our people. You cannot tell me a state that has over 40% unemployment are not the poorest. The only reason why the poverty doesn't show because we pump billions of naira into Edo State. But if Governor Obaseki was able to harness that, we would have probably be the top. So I don't believe that it's because of him. That's why we have WAEC and all that. No, because even when you look at it, people you are judging by the WAEC are people in private schools, people that go to school abroad. The poor are not being educated in Edo State.
No. The public school rate, pass rate in Edo State is 92.8, while the private school is 93.5. So I put it to you, sir, that the record, I agree, I understand where you're coming from, but the record shows that Edo State is the envy of other states in Nigeria when it comes to education. But we're going to let that. You made your views very clear. But I want to ask you something very important. What will be your first 100 days achievement in office if you were elected as the next governor of Edo State?
My achievement, first thing I want to do is to ensure that Edo is safe, that people are willing to come to Edo and do business. I'm hearing companies coming to Edo. I'm hearing there's no kidnapping. I'm hearing courtesan. People are not killing each other. That is what I want to hear first. That's my first priority. Once my people are safe and people are coming to invest, I know that will create job opportunities. That will create a better environment. In Benin, by 6 o'clock, everywhere is closed. That's not good for business. So that's security. That will be my priority for people to be safe. For people coming from abroad, Edo State have the largest diaspora in Nigeria. When the people coming home are feeling safe and are not afraid to go out at night and are not afraid to bring in businesses, and we have hospitals where they are not afraid that if they get sick in Benin, in Edo State, they are not going to be able to return healthy safely. That would be my priority.
Okay. So I want to give you 1 minute to speak directly to the Edo people. Tell them why they should vote for you. Your 1 minute starts.
The people of Edo State, I'm your son, Ogbemunde Abasi Osage. I've been a police officer for 24 years in Canada. I've experienced a lot. I'm a security expert. I have served the people of Toronto for 24 years. I'm ready to come home and serve the people of Edo State to ensure their safety, to ensure the protection of people and their property. And let's turn a new stage. Let's have a new beginning, Edo people. Let's have a new start. Let's elect somebody who has dedicated his life to public service, who has dedicated his life to transparency, who has dedicated his life to accountability. Let's stop giving position to people who doesn't know how to serve us. I know how to serve. I know what is right. I know how to do the right things. I've done it in Toronto. The people of Toronto entrusted me with so much power and responsibility. I want you to trust me. I want you to entrust me so that I can serve and protect you, so I can bring all the ideas I've learned over the last 2 decades. I can bring it